What's happening, guys? This is the 13th episode of Ask Steve or T, a forum we set up for you guys to send in questions regarding fitness, health, nutrition, supplementation, whatever it may be, and we'll give you our best answer. It's not professional advice, and you should consult a doctor before any training or nutritional program is commenced. Guys, we've had a question via our inbox, and that was, what are Sarms? So I know this is a question that maybe won't have a huge amount of people interested, but for the people that are interested, hopefully this is some good general information about what Sarms are and where they kind of came from. So Sarms stands for Selective Androgen Receptor Modulators. Now what that means is that this class of drugs, this class of synthetic compounds, are selective to the androgen receptors in the body. Now, why this is important is because Sarms were brought out as an alternative to androgenic and anabolic steroids. So in the medical field, obviously, steroids can offer some great healing benefits, some great recovery benefits. However, the side effects that come with these steroids are often so great that it can't be used in a wide basis. It can't be used across a broad population of people. So, put basically, you can't give an 8-year-old girl with a broken leg some deca and nandrolone and testosterone to help recover the leg quicker if that's going to put her hormones out of whack and she's going to, start growing a beard. Obviously, the side effects outweigh the benefits. So when Sarms were said to be a perfectly selective drug to the androgen receptors, it looked like a very promising alternative. That kind of explains how and why they came about. Now, as far as I know, Sarms are still being used for experimental purposes inside the medical field, but they haven't been a direct swap put in place for steroids. And that was mainly because, yes, they were very minimal in the side effects that they were producing, but they weren't nearly as effective as some of the traditional steroids already used for muscle growth and recovery purposes. So, usually anything that's going to offer weight loss or muscle building benefits in the medical field is usually quickly picked up by bodybuilders looking for a performance enhancing benefit from them. Now, those kind of first generation Sarms, like Ostarine, that were definitely used in the medical industry, I'm not 100% sure that all the Sarms that are out now, like your RADs and GWs and MK677s, are all just medical compounds that have been rejected by the medical industry and now are being accepted by the health and fitness industry. I think some of them were literally just created for bodybuilders and other people wanting to get performance enhancing benefits. So with that, it does lead us to kind of question the validity, how valid these companies are in terms of the drugs that they're creating. Now, that is because the premise that these businesses are allowed to sell essentially drugs is because it's for research purposes only. Now, you should have seen that in any of the sites that you've seen these Sarms advertised. And that is because they are selling them under that premise that you are taking them on for your own research, so that you're going to go home, you're going to play on your laptop, play with your little Bunsen burner and beakers, and come up with an experiment based on these compounds. But you're definitely not going to be consuming these drugs for whatever reason. It's not for human consumption, and that's how they're selling them to you. So if you're kind of thinking, is this kind of like a peptide? Is this like, kind of like an alternative to steroids made by a reputable company that, I'm going to have some good quality stuff here, and if anything goes wrong, I'm going to be able to come back to that company and say, well, I got some side effects from this. What are you guys going to do to compensate me? It's not the case, guys. If you get any side effects from these drugs, and you come back to the company and say, "Hey, guys, what are you going to do? This and this has happened to me," they're going to say, "Oh, no, buddy, you definitely weren't supposed to consume those. They were supposed to be for science research." So don't fool yourself into thinking that these are peptide-like substances. They're not peptides, and they're definitely not a clear-cut drug being offered by like reputable companies where if anything goes wrong, you're going to be able to seek some sort of compensation for whatever side effects may occur. So essentially, there's no difference in terms of your risk from you picking it up from some guy at your local gym, whether it's a steroid or a SARM, or buying it off these companies. If something happens to you, you don't really have a leg to stand on. Now, obviously, that's kind of like a con to SARMs. There are plenty of like potential benefits, though. In terms of the muscle growth and weight loss, I guess, aspects of it, some of them I've seen, and not that I've used any. That would my pet rat at home, he's used a few of them, and they do offer some decent results. Obviously, training and diet still needs to be 100% there to be able to see really good results, but yes, you can receive good results from them, but don't think that they are in the same category as steroids. You're not going to get the same sort of results, the same sort of strength, the same sort of muscle growth, the same sort of weight loss benefits. They're just not directly comparable. So, yes, there's a good potential that the factory or the laboratory that they're made in is of good standard. That's a potential benefit. Yes, they will be offering minimal side effects, but don't forget the milligrams that are used in the medical industry for recovery and health benefits are not the bodybuilding dosages that some of these websites would be suggesting that potentially a person could use. They are much more. So with that, the side effects would increase. The other benefit is that it's oral. I mean, obviously, if people are looking for an alternative to steroids, which aren't legal in Australia, this would be an oral form of taking the drug, and they wouldn't have to deal with any injections. So that would be another benefit of them. As I said, the cons are you don't really have a legal leg to stand on, so you are still just at the same sort of risk as taking it off from the beefy guy at the gym. I don't think the marketing is very how would you say? I just don't think it's valid. They are not a perfect alternative to steroids. They are not going to offer the same performance-enhancing benefits. And the other part is, obviously, we just don't know much about them. They haven't been around long enough to really know any long-term side effects. So there's some good points to them, some bad points to them. I've talked a little bit about how they come about. If you have any direct questions about specific SARMs, you can more than happy to talk about it in store. But yeah, as I said, I can't recommend them, especially not for human use. As I said, my pet rat at home, he got okay results from them, nothing to write home about, but they can be used and stacked together in I guess some pretty cool ways, and you can get results from them that they're just not going to be comparable to that of steroids. So hopefully that shines some light on the SARMs topic, guys. I thank you for the questions. Please like, share this post if you think this is going to be of benefit to someone else, and we'll keep putting up these answers to your question. Cheers, guys.